What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector. I'm your host, Bitcoin, bringing you a top tier review of a top tier movie. But as always, let's hear from our sponsors.
I don't care whose skin you're wearing, bub, but I'm dying to find out what's inside.
Alright, guys, here is the 700th Deadpool Wolverine review on YouTube. I'm going to try and be a little bit different. Definitely won't be original. If you've clicked on this video, you've seen the movie, you know how you feel about it. I'm sure you've seen other people's opinions and reviews about it. And I'm just yet another review video in the ether, but I'm going to try and include my experience about Marvel into this, because this was, I don't want to say a watershed moment for me in the MCU, but this definitely felt important to me. So anyways, let's get into it. Deadpool Wolverine, off the bat, spoiler. I love the movie. I can't say it was a perfect movie. There were quirks about the movie that I didn't really care about. I don't get into the whole multiverse timeline TVA thing, and I know that's a unique way of how comic books uses the multiverse and timelines to reboot and retcon and bring characters into the fold, and it helps it to make sense. And I know that's what they're doing here in Deadpool. They're bringing in the Fox universe, and so they're using the TVA to kind of do that and make things easier and tie a nice bow around. And I applaud that, but I just don't care about those concepts. That's why I don't read the Fantastic Four or Silver Surfer or any of that. I don't care about a multiverse. It's too convoluted. I like a streamlined continuity. I want like one universe, one Earth, and that's it. That's just kind of how I like to enjoy my books. Even though my collection says otherwise. But, so yeah, I didn't really care about the whole TVA thing. I will say they did a good job of putting heat on the TVA guy. I'm blanking. Oh my god. The TVA guy talking to Deadpool. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Anyways, they did a good job putting heat on him and making him feel villainous, but they also did a good job of making him feel a little weak, so I got that satisfaction when Deadpool or Wolverine would shoot back at him, because they're just so, Wolverine and Deadpool are so grounded in their power sets and their skills and their abilities that you kind of, if you're going to place them in an environment against, otherworldly, unnatural characters as adversaries, you kind of have to be creative. So I feel like they did a good job of that with that character. I liked the setting. It's very Old Man Logan. When they went to the Void, they were definitely borrowing from Old Man Logan, but they didn't use the Old Man Logan story. Which is a shame, because I think this is probably the bookend for any Old Man Logan material, and I have long thought about saving Hugh Jackman for the future for a proper Old Man Logan. There's so much more you can do with Hugh Jackman and get more out of him if he would be willing to do this. I know he's a human, and he's got his own plans for his own life, and maybe he wants to be done with Wolverine, but I have long thought that you could bring back Hugh Jackman at any time in the future and do just your own self-contained Old Man Logan story. And this movie really feels like they put the bookend on it. I like the creativity. We all saw it in the trailer of the hideout being in Ant-Man's body. That was really unique. I liked the choice of characters they use. Cameos everywhere, right? I mean, I could go on and on with the cameos, but I think we all enjoyed mostly Blade and Jennifer Garner, Elektra. and of course Gambit. Everybody loved Gambit, and I personally loved Laura Kinney. And I really want to speak a lot on Laura Kinney. I feel like this movie really propelled this actress into that role as a serious character for the future of the MCU. I can see where her chess piece kind of fits in with a possible Young Avengers. You know, they set up Ashley Tisdale, Hawkeye. I don't know her name. I didn't watch the show. I don't care about Hawkeye. But did I say Ashley Tisdale? Oh my gosh. Ashley Steinfeld, I think is her name. They set up her, and then they set up Ant-Man's daughter, and they're just kind of building to something. I don't know where it's going. I don't think any of us do, but it feels like they're trying to get younger, and I think my character, I'm gonna get behind the character that I'm going to latch onto in this next era of the MCU as they get younger is Laura Kinney. I've always loved the character. I love the idea of her being Wolverine's clone, and how they made her such a tragic character in Logan. It breaks your heart if you watch Logan, how Laura Kinney is in that movie and her story. And then to see her interacting with Logan in this movie was fantastic, and I really appreciated. And I know a lot of it's just she can't help it. It's just the way she looks. It didn't appear like they did a lot of makeup or costuming to make her appear like Laura Kinney. But I just really appreciated how immediately when she walked into the room in that cave, I knew right away that's Laura Kinney, that's X-23. Yes, like there was no guessing. And I just really appreciated the accuracy of her look, the jeans and the black t-shirt. She even was doing like Laura Kinney, like comic book cover stances, you know, when she posed and they would do the Matrix spin around. Really cool to see that her two clawing people. I'm just so excited for Laura Kinney and X-23 and that character going forward. I liked the Wolverine stuff. You know, that for me was the biggest part of what didn't send it over the edge for me. I really wanted it to be a Wolverine movie. I know it's Deadpool and Wolverine, and there was plenty of balance there. I didn't feel like either character got too much spotlight in the sun, even though it was designed to be really a Deadpool movie featuring Wolverine. I liked the quick cameos. They were going through with Deadpool, going through the timelines to find a Wolverine. Really enjoyed all of the Easter eggs. I was like, oh, I have that book. I recognize him. And then when they went to Old Man Logan, I was like, oh, I have that book. I remember him. And then they showed Patch, and I was like, I have first appearance of Patch. I remember him. I just really enjoyed that whole flipping through scene. And then the scene with Deadpool just fighting this Wolverine was so funny. And makes me really want to dive into this Age of Apocalypse storyline, get the whole story and experience Party Foul, but experience this Wolverine in the comic books and see how this take on Wolverine is. I don't know much about this particular Wolverine, but I loved the costume. I loved how accurate it was. It was that, for some odd reason, that scene, that clip was just my favorite fan service moment of Wolverine. I don't know why, even more than the yellow suit. And really and truly, it's because the suit didn't feel 100% true to the comic books. It felt like they were taking the suit and making it realistic so it would work better for Hugh Jackman. But nevertheless, I still enjoyed the suit. I think my biggest letdown, I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. There was a couple letdowns, but nothing broke the movie for me. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly, but I think my biggest letdown is that we've been building for, maybe not intentionally, but there's been this build up to Wolverine going full force in the yellow suit. We're finally here. It's the famous 90s X-Men Wolverine suit. It's everything us Wolverine fans could want. And I was just a little let down that I'm finally getting this moment and it's being used on the Deadpool core. I thought it was funny. I thought it got the point across. It served the story, was very appropriate. But I would have liked to have seen Wolverine go against Juggernaut or a contender in that yellow suit. Give him like a Rocky fight. This is his swan song. This is Hugh Jackman potentially leaving this character behind for the rest of his life, and this incredible moment is used on the Deadpool core. So that's just kind of how I feel about that whole scene. But it was still fine. It was still good. I still was like, hell yeah, about everything, and enjoyed it. Plenty of blood and guts, and it was funny. They played Madonna over it as well. So that was fun. Another thing I didn't care about, I don't really care about Cassandra Nova. She didn't look intimidating, and I thought her egghead was kind of funny, albeit it serves the comedic vibe and tone of a Deadpool movie that she reminds me of The Eggheads, the movie The Eggheads. But for me, it just didn't put any heat behind her. I didn't take her seriously. She didn't feel like a true villain. She just felt like a misunderstood brat that is trying to find her way. And I really like my antagonists in my movies to have heat, to feel like a heel. I want to fear them or hate them or respect them. And none of that for Cassandra Nova. As powerful as she is, I was just like, whatever, dude. I mean, whatever. So that was a little bit of a letdown, but and then another thing, I just really don't get into the whole psychic, telekinetic power thing. It's cool in comic books. Like I love Jean Grey, Psylocke, and Crazy Jane is one of my favorite characters in all the comic books. But when it comes to a movie, like I'm just a visual guy, so I need like guns, violence, punching. I need to physically see the action, and not all the time, but that's just what I prefer. And so it just, I don't relate. I don't feel the grandeur of her power set when she's doing this and like destroying people. Like I just. Whatever, dude. That kind of thing. So there's that. But again, none of this took down the movie for me. I'd like to close on this. I don't want to do a deep dive. I would like to reference somebody at the end of this video. Look up their deep dive. It's a fantastic deep dive. But I'd like to close with, I love the dichotomy within Deadpool. There was character growth in Deadpool, and there's been character growth in Deadpool throughout the three movies. He comes out of the Weapon X program and he meets Vanessa, and it's just this fun, twisted, toxic, loving relationship, and he's way more comedic and upbeat and more confident in himself in the first movie. And then we see a more loving, deep side to Deadpool. Still funny, quirky, all the mirk with the mouth things he says. But, we get to see that character growth and him getting in touch with his more sensitive side with Vanessa. And then here we see him. He's clearly pining for Vanessa. It was sweet. It was really sweet and touching. I'll be honest. I really, for this to be a Deadpool movie, and knowing what you sign up for in a Deadpool movie, understanding what the character is, ironically enough, the scenes with Vanessa were some of my favorite scenes. Not the violence, not the jokes. Much like X-23's deep conversation, well, I don't want to say deep, but her touching conversation with Logan was one of my favorite heartwarming scenes. The birthday scenes with Vanessa were really touching, and some of my favorite scenes. I'm rooting for Vanessa and Deadpool. I want to see them back together, and to see that emotional side of Deadpool, that dichotomy within him. It's a testament to Ryan Reynolds' acting. It's a testament to the complexity of Deadpool. Deadpool might be one of the most emotionally complex characters in all of comics. I mean, I can't think of anybody with more angles to his personality than Deadpool. And I'm just hoping that they get back together, and that final scene at the birthday when he grabs Vanessa's hands and he says, "You may not want to be with me, but I did this for you." My inner schoolgirl came out, and I was just like, oh. But yeah, loved those scenes. Loved seeing Vanessa back. I'm hoping this was kind of a Deadpool 2.5, and we're getting an actual, a Facebook official, as I like to say, Deadpool 3 coming in the future, and I want to see more with Vanessa and Deadpool. I want to see where their relationship heads, just like I enjoy Wasp and Scott Lang's, I don't remember her name, Scott Lang's and Wasp's relationship. That whole growth, that was an interesting relationship to me. Deadpool and Vanessa are equally, if not more interesting to me than Scott Lang and Wasp. And then there's, kind of taking back to the macro sense of the dichotomy of the character of Deadpool. There was also a dichotomy within the movie. Again, you have all the violence and the jokes and the badass moments, but then you have all these sentimental, emotional. Some of this was deep. Now, it wasn't gut-wrenching. They weren't stabbing you in the gut and leaving you to cry in the street. They weren't ripping your heart out, but there was a lot of emotional moments, like when Deadpool and Wolverine come down from another one of their fights, and Wolverine just looks at him, have nothing to say, mouth. That was an intense moment, and you could just see under the mask that Deadpool was feeling something there. He was stirred with emotion, and I just really liked that, and I liked the play. The way Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds bounced off each other throughout the whole movie was fantastic. It was everything I expected, everything I signed up for, everything I wanted to be. I wanted, Deadpool annoying and pissing off Wolverine the whole movie, and them finally becoming true besties at the end, which they did. How they took down Cassandra Cain, I thought was very appropriate. I thought it was a good way to have those grounded Earth level. I don't want to say street level, because Wolverine and Deadpool are way more than street level. That they're not your typical hunting down bank robber characters in Marvel, but they're definitely some of the grounded characters in the Marvel Universe, and I liked the way they found a way for Wolverine and Deadpool to defeat the all-powerful Cassandra Cain, who could have been a force in the MCU. Would have been very interesting to see her maybe tangle with Kang or Hulk. Well, maybe not Hulk, because Hulk doesn't have mental powers, but find a way for her to just tangle with somebody that's a strong telekinetic character as well. And I'm the part of me that doesn't care about Cassandra Cain at all, and just not into the telekinetic thing. I was like, good, she's a one-off. And I was thinking that as she died, she's a one-off. We're not going to deal with her anymore. But then there was part of me that was like, you know, she is powerful enough that it could be interesting to see her used again. And I don't know if we're going to get that, because we did see her body disintegrate. I don't see how she could come back from that. But it is the Marvel Universe, and we do have a multiverse, and it's always a possibility for Cassandra. Am I saying Cassandra Cain? This is not a Batwoman episode. Cassandra Nova. Find a way for Cassandra Nova to come back into the MCU. I was really touched, and again, I'll close on this. I've been wanting to close out this video for like 5 minutes now, but I'll end here. I like the search for Deadpool's purpose. I love the idea that he wants to become an Avenger. He wants more purpose. He wants to be more than just a hired gun that kills people. I think, again, that's more character growth, and that leaves the door open for more continuity, more movies, more stories for Deadpool. It makes him interesting, and it allows Disney to continue to use Marvel properties in their movies. I think that about does it, guys. One final thing. This movie, in closing, is for it was for me. I came into this hobby as a DC fan. Wolverine is just about the only thing from Marvel I collect. You know, I collect X-Men, but because of Wolverine, I collect Wolverine, obviously. And I dabble in Moon Knight. I like Moon Knight, but that's really the extent of my collection, my knowledge. I don't know the lore. I don't care about the Avengers, I'll be honest. When we went through the entire Infinity Saga, I just felt like an outsider looking in at everybody else having all the fun, and me just sitting back in my DC corner having a pity party. But nevertheless, I have seen most of the MCU, and they've got good stuff. I'm glad it seems to be turning back more into a positive light. I hope they continue with this momentum into their Captain America movie. But Marvel has never really put out a movie for me, for my character. Wolverine is my Marvel character. And it was just really nice to feel like I really felt like Disney and Fox were thinking of me and fans like me when I was watching this movie. And it means a lot. I mean, it means a lot because, again, since Iron Man 1, I've just felt like all the Marvel kids were having all the fun. Yeah, we had Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, but during that time span, we've had the DCEU, and some of that's good, some of that's bad, but Marvel has been dominant in the market, and it's just nice to finally feel like, hey, they made a movie for me for once, and that felt nice, because I respect Endgame and Infinity War and the Avengers and all that for what it is, but it's just not for me, and that's okay, and it's okay if you like all of that stuff. Check out Comically Comics Podcast, 22 Comics personal podcast with two of his real life buddies. They have a Deadpool Wolverine deep dive, and I want to direct you to that. If you need a deep dive, you need to hear people flesh out the movie. I'm going to direct you to that podcast. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, and watching. Until next time, guys.